I asked him why it was the size of my pinky, hard, and he proceeded to call his mother and have his mom explain to me that he's taken a bunch of Adderall in his life and that he drank a lot of Mountain Dew as a kid.
Hi besties, and welcome to a brand new episode on Almost Adulting with me, your host, Violetta. Today, I'm welcoming you to Confession Corner. This is the first Confession Corner of the month of March. This month on Confession Corner, we are all about you calling in and confessing your what the fuck, hilarious sex moments that you wish never happened. And I thought today's guest that's going to join me and just help me out with listening to your hilarious voicemails is Francesca Farago.
Hello. I feel like I'm definitely a perfect person for the job of embarrassing sex stories. So
yes. I mean, literally, you got to live it on live TV.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to hear what you guys have. So let's go.
All right. So the topic that you put on the story was sex stories that haunt you to this day. And despite the fact that this happened to me like 12 or 13 years ago, I still sometimes lie awake at night and I think about it. And it's not so much my mistake, but it still is just wild to me. So anyways, I was like 18 or 19, and it was actually the first time I had ever queefed during sex, and I freaked out, like totally stopped and paused, and I like had a moment where I almost cried because I thought that he was going to think that I farted, because like you hear about them, but you don't think about it till you're in the moment, and then it happens. And it was very loud. Like there was clearly a lot of air pushed up in there.
Doesn't that suck that that's just part of our natural body reaction because there's too much air going into our vagina?
That means you got the good D. That's all that means.
Literally,
yeah.
Or the guy was just pounding you nonstop.
Yeah.
And then we feel embarrassed by that.
Yeah.
One time the opposite happened to me. I'm so embarrassed to admit this.
What's the opposite of queef?
I accidentally passed gas and I made a noise. And then my boyfriend looked at me. We're very young as well, maybe 20. And he looked at me and he's like, "Did you just fart?" And I was so mortified of the thought of me, having a human bodily thing happen to me that's normal and natural. And I was just like, and I was so embarrassed also by queefing, but I was like, which one's the worst? Which one's less shitty? And I'm like, no, I queefed. And even that I felt humiliated, which is so stupid.
Yeah. It's like, it's so crazy that we're so like drawn to feeling embarrassed over like natural things.
I know. Yeah. Okay. So she queefed when she was 18 or 19, but she said it was a loud one. So it's probably like,
yeah. Drawn out.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you ever had one of those?
Yeah, I've definitely queefed usually like after you go pee, like after sex, because I don't want to get a UTI, so I'll always go pee.
Yeah.
And sometimes you queef and then it's even worse because you're in the bathroom
and
like
they can hear it
on the toilet, so they think you're like just taking a shit after you had sex, but you're just queefing. So like it should be something that you're like, yeah, we just queef, because that means like you got good pee-pee, right? Like that means sex was good.
So
I don't know. I haven't really.
It's just air going in there.
Yeah. So
it's natural, and it sucks that because I actually have a good queefing method where you don't queef from it. And I've mentioned it before, and then some people were upset because they were like, it's a natural thing. I know. But if you're anal, like a lot of us women, no matter how natural things are, sometimes we still get those moments of embarrassment. Mm-hmm. And I do want to normalize passing gas, queefing. It's all normal. But I mean, it's like, when you accidentally poop on someone if you have anal. We've all been there.
Mm. I've been there.
I've been there too.
I've been only one time.
Me too.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend broke up with me.
Really?
We were young.
Savage. Oh my
I
God.
know.
I've heard people talk, sorry for interrupting you. I've heard people talk about like trauma stories of like their dick getting pooped on, and I'm like, what do you expect? Like, it's normal. Like, don't let the girl be embarrassed. Like, doubt it was her idea anyways. Like,
yeah,
it's literally normal. Just wipe it off and keep going. Be a man.
No, we were young, and I was on my period. When I'm on my period, I have going to the bathroom. I feel like it's a lot of women go through that on their periods. It's more not diarrhea, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah,
it's
softer.
Just yeah, it's softer stool. And didn't want to have sex, obviously. So then he just was like, okay, if we're not having sex, let me put it in your ass. And he literally like flipped me over and just shoved it in my butthole.
That's his own fault.
And you know, I'm just so thankful to have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
That I let it happen. But then afterwards he pulls out and there was like a little bit on it and he was like, ew, what the fuck? And he freaked out and then I felt so embarrassed and then he ghosted me for 2 days and then dumped me.
I fully believe that if you end up with stuff on your PP, that is your fault. That means you did not enter or exit the anal area properly.
He literally just shoved it up my butthole.
If you go in really slow, have sex as usual, and then take it out really, really slow, you're not going to have poop on your dick. So that's his fault. He obviously didn't know how to bang you properly, and that's on him.
Yeah.
Good riddance.
We eventually got back together because I had no self-worth.
I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so, you know, thank God though it happened. Well, actually, no, I was with him most of my 20s. So it took me a long time to learn, but it's okay. Thank God at least I finally learned. But yeah, back then I can admit I had no self-worth. And of course, I was so thankful when he wanted me back. And he forgave me for pooping on him. No. I was like, thank you so much for forgiving me. We've had anal after that, and obviously I
did? Sure. I would have been traumatized.
Well, I was in a way that I always had to be on my back, so I could always see what's happening versus being on my stomach.
Yeah.
And obviously I had a whole regiment.
Mm-hmm. Like a douching situation.
Yeah, because God forbid my body reacts in a way that humans have.
I know.
You know.
I know.
So that was nice. Wait, let's finish this. Sorry.
And so I paused and I said, I swear to God, that wasn't my ass. And he said, even if it was, I'm still going to have sex with you. And I was like, okay. So then I still am like freaked out about it. And he pauses and goes, do you want me to make you feel better? And I was like, okay. So he proceeds to try to fart and he shits in the bed.
I did not see that happening.
Yeah, he was trying to make me fart to make me feel better, and he shit himself while I was like he was inside me. So that's my story. Okay, bye.
No, that just took the craziest turn I've ever heard in my entire life.
I just wasn't expecting that.
I was not expecting that.
I paused the story for no good reason, thinking it's just a queefing story, trying to make her feel better. Imagine.
Oh my God. And that story just took a turn. That is crazy.
Okay, I need to know, were they missionary or doggy style when he shit himself? Because he said he was inside of me.
If it was missionary, that is way too close to the vaginal opening. That would be traumatizing.
He gave her a UTI.
Yeah, I have a UTI just from hearing this.
Wait, that's sweet.
I need to know.
Obviously.
I need to know if they went on a second date. Like, was this a one night stand? Or is it a boyfriend?
I'm getting the feeling she never spoke to him again.
He was trying to make her feel better.
I know.
Yeah, but I wouldn't try to make someone feel better by also farting. I feel like that would be weird. I would just be like, let me make you feel better. Or let me eat you out or something, you know?
Yeah, that's you. But as a boy,
boy,
and they're 19.
Oh yeah,
and he's like, oh, I know what I can do, because obviously an older guy would probably be like, oh, who cares? Move on, or let me eat you out.
Yeah,
19-year-old boy, you're like, oh, let me show you how a real fart happens, and then he sharted himself, obviously.
Oh no.
Or it's past the sharding and it's just he shit himself.
Oh no, poor guy. He was just trying to do a good deed, you know, trying to make her feel better. And then he shit on her.
To be a fly on the wall and to just hear all the sounds.
He'd be so confused, like one sound after the other, and then all of a sudden like a liquidy sound.
To go from the queefing, like to then the sound of the farting with the
no. I hope she went on a second date or something with him, because that guy deserves
she
it.
Didn't.
I know, but that he was trying to do a good deed and he just failed terribly at the deed.
Which is pretty mad, because before we finished listening to this, we somehow moved into anal about pooping. Yeah. And we're like, this so lame if the guy can't forgive. And then we hear this part and we're like, holy shit, she never went out with them again.
I'm saying she did. I would have.
I would go out with him again, but I was with my ex who was cheating on me for so many years, so I feel like my standards I would be just so thankful. I'd be like, he could have shitted on anyone and he shitted on me. I'm so lucky. But I would go out with him just to be a good sport, to be honest.
For sure. That would have been an awkward like shower after that. Like you're both standing in the shower, like, hey.
Yeah.
Having to wash those sheets.
Yeah.
Hopefully it wasn't at her house.
I mean, I think that was their least of their worries. I'm just trying to imagine it, him shitting on himself while he's inside of her. Do you think they finished or
No, there's no way. There's no way they finished. That's like a yeah, your dick gets soft after that.
The scent, the smells, the sounds. It was a lot.
I feel like I was there.
I know. Okay, let's go to the next one. Thank you so much for sharing. That was insane that I interrupted that part. Okay, let's go.
Hi, Violetta. This is JJ from Philly. I have a phenomenal story for you that I hope you enjoyed, but wanted to say that I love you and love your podcast. We're a sex story. I did a threesome in college, and I was pretty involved with the one guy, but he brought his best friend into the room, and so I was used to, having sex with the one guy, but the other guy, he tried to join in, and I was like, okay, let's go along for the ride. Well, his junk was the size of my pinky, I kid you not, and it was horrendous, killed the entire mood. And I asked him why it was the size of my pinky, hard, and he proceeded to call his mother and have his mom explain to me that he's taken a bunch of Adderall in his life and that he drank a lot of Mountain Dew as a kid. And it was probably the worst experience. I was traumatized and have not had sex for a whole year after that. So hope you love my story. Shout out to that guy. Hope he's doing well. And yeah, have a great day.
No, his mom is about to call me on this podcast and explain to me the story all over again.
Oh my God. Like I do have a soft spot for guys that have small, very small
Obviously,
penises. Like
course.
as long as you don't have small dick energy, it doesn't matter. Like whatever, that sucks. But like to take it to that level. But why would she ask him though? Why is your dick so small? That's weird.
That's all. I was shocked by all of that. I was shocked by the fact that she stopped and she verbally said, why is that your penis? But then I was even more shocked by the fact that instead of him saying, laughing it off or walking away, he was like, hold on, while I'm naked and so are you, let me call my mom so she can explain it to you. That's what shocked me.
Yeah, like he could have easily said I did Adderall as a kid. He didn't need to involve his mom, which is odd. Like, did he FaceTime her? Was it like a regular phone call?
Right.
I hope it wasn't a FaceTime. That would have been awkward.
I mean, him and his mom seem, obviously his mom's fully aware of what's going on down there. They're in college.
That's awkward as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always find that very, I've dated guys before that I've asked them how open are they with their parents, and they're like, yeah, I've seen both of my parents naked. We walk around naked all the time. Like this one guy, but he's an artist. That could be why. I don't know if it's an American thing, but or maybe I'm too European where I can't even imagine my dad massaging me or being too close to me. But that's because I've, hashtag daddy issues. So yeah, that's crazy though. There's the mom's the fact that she's like, oh, here we go again. Yes, let me tell you the whole story. So this is what's happening with my son. Like, I feel like the mom was just ready with her notes.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that constantly happens.
I always think a lot of mother and sons have very toxic and weird relationships. And I think this is a prime example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel really bad for him, though.
Yeah, that would suck. If someone I was hooking up with had a chode, I would take it and I wouldn't say anything.
It's not, first of all, JJ from Philly, I love you. Thank you so much for loving me as well and for listening to my podcast. But I will say, from all the listeners, when we get naked, we're in a very vulnerable position. Mm-hmm. Women and men and they and everyone. And I think that's the last place you should ever criticize or make somebody feel less than, because I can't imagine. Because one time I was hooking up with a guy that I really liked and he was already on his way of not liking me and he was just finding everything wrong with me. And as we're kissing, about to get naked, he just goes, oh, I just realized why I don't like kissing you so much. It's like the way your teeth hit my teeth or something like that. He said something like that and I'm like, what? And he's just like, sorry, I feel like you kiss weird. And the minute he said that, I just right away had no idea how to kiss, and I started to get self-conscious. And then I remember we finally have sex. I let that go and we have sex, and I tried to be all sexy and hot, and he stopped me in the middle of us having sex, and he goes, okay, why do you, it was basically, I turned around, I was with my back to him, and I was kind of like leaning forward, my breasts on his legs, because I watched it in porn.
Yeah.
So I'm like doing my best to be like that girl from Euphoria, I forgot her name, where she just learns everything from porn. Yeah. I'm just doing what I think this guy's gonna find me sexy. And he stops me in the middle of me trying to fuck him, and he just goes, why are you doing that? Like, you're not in a porno. Who are you performing for? And then this point I was like, for fuck's sake, like, I don't know how to kiss now, and I have no idea how to have sex. Like, I'm so uncomfortable.
Yeah, like,
it's mean.
You're so vulnerable, and like that's so fucked up. I don't agree with that at all. Yeah.
And as women, we get so uncomfortable by the way our bodies look when we're naked and all that. So yeah, I think we should have the same empathy.
Yeah, I agree.
For a man, because obviously your body parts, there's nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing you can do. Yeah.
So that I do feel bad for him, but I will say, FaceTiming. I'm gonna assume. Let's just assume they FaceTime. FaceTiming his mother.
Yeah.
In the middle of a threesome.
Yeah, that was.
So she can back
like,
his
did
story.
That kill the mood? Like, I want to know. Like, did they continue having sex? Like, was that it? Like, did they, like, wrap it up, or what was the vibe after that?
Yeah. Did the mom pack them a Lunchable?
Like,
or
did she order? Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Like, did she pick him up after? Like, what's going on?
She 100% picked him up.
Yeah.
After.
He's like, can you come get me? I would have said the same thing. Like, mom, come get me. Like, if I got naked and someone criticized anything about me, I would literally be out of there so quick. My clothes would be back on.
Yeah, but I probably wouldn't FaceTime my mother in the middle of it, or like my dad. Like, somebody was like, why is one tip bigger than the other? I'd be like, hold on, let me call my dad, and he's gonna explain to you why.
Yeah. See, like, you would never call your dad about stuff like that, like anything. So I don't like the sons and mothers relationship still boggles my mind to this day. Like,
I agree. Some relationships I've noticed, the mommy issues are weird to me too.
Yeah, mommy issues are real.
The mothers are literally dating their sons.
My boyfriend's been on TikTok lately, and he's on like toxic mom son TikTok, and every TikTok he sees is like, the biggest heartbreak you'll face as a mother is when your son grows older and doesn't need you anymore. Like, that's the toughest relationship to go through. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what are these women talking about? Like, one woman would be like, oh, my son's having a bad day. Like, he hits his sisters. And I say, oh, you're just having a bad day. And I'm like, what? Like, this is why men grow up to abuse their wives. This is why men grow up to need to be taken care of, need their laundry done. They don't know how to cook because they've been raised by mothers like that. Like, it's so crazy. Like, I think Emrata, the way she's raising her son, is like so empowering, and same with Julia Fox, the way she's raising her son as well. Like, from what I've listened to, sounds like so amazing and empowering that other mothers need to just take notes because it's too much.
One time, one of my exes, the one that I queefed in front of, that one, I recall he had a really close relationship with his mom, and then she would tell me things like, yeah, because he would go away to school, and she would say things like, I just kind of go sleep in his room so I can remember him, and then I like to sniff his clothes in this closet just so I can smell his scent.
Absolutely not.
And then we were at a wedding together, and she would continuously go in between us and dance between us. And then she looked at me and she said, like, whispering, she said, I just want you to know I will always be his number one. And I'm like, if you want to suck his dick, just say that. Go ahead. Like, I don't need to do it.
This is like, it's so common. It's like honestly sickening. Like, are you not getting the love from your husband that you need to like get it from your son? It's so weird.
But obviously, rest in peace to her, because she did pass away. I will say he did cheat on me. So but all my exes did. No big deal.
Basically same.
I don't care. Okay, moving on to the next one. Okay, so somebody called about terrible dates instead of crazy sex stories, and that's what was going on last month in February. Okay, so she says, I called to tell you about the worst date story of my life. I wanted to stay with this guy, and his profile was completely different age right off the bat when I got there to the date. Has that ever happened to you?
I've never met someone off a dating profile, oddly enough.
That's cool, because you do it on reality TV show.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. She goes, he was going to be 20 minutes late, so I decided to be 40 minutes late because you're not about to out late me. Okay.
Immediately off to a bad start.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's weird.
So she goes, I showed up 40 minutes late and he was pissed at me. Right. Okay.
I mean,
yeah. Well, technically 20 minutes late. And then as soon as I saw him, I realized he was visibly way older than his profile said. And the whole date he's trying to sit there and belittle me and talk down to me and mansplaining shit. And, I end up asking him, I was like, how old are you? And he was like, how old do you think I am? And I was like, no. I want you to guess. And he was like, no, I want you to guess. And I was like, just shut up.
what?
Obviously, me reading it is probably not, this is the tone I assume. And she goes, you're going to tell me right now. And I'm not playing that game with you. So on his profile, he said that he was 33. But guess what? He's actually 43. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which, no problem with being 43, but it was way out of my age range and made me very uncomfortable. That's fair. I don't know how old she is, but let's assume she's in her 20s. That's really aggressive and not cool.
Yeah, especially because like that means that you just want sex, because obviously you don't want anything further, because people are going to find out that you lied about 10 years and they're never going to want to be anything serious with you.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Which, no problem being 43, but it was way out of my age range and made me very uncomfortable. Fair. So, I'm feeling really weird throughout the date, and on top of his behavior is just really uncalled for, and he is bragging about how much money he has, but he won't tell me what he does for work. So by the end of the day, it's time to leave, and I didn't want anything to do with this dude anymore. He was just walking red flag. And then he walks me back to my car, even though I didn't want him to, and he made me kiss him. Ugh. That sucks. And by the way, I believe when girls say that a guy makes them do something, because we've all been in those situations where it's all about be nice.
Yeah.
You have to be polite. You have to be nice. Yeah. And then you try to be nice by these situations.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay. And she said, I try not to. And he was like, why are you holding back?
Ew.
Are you nervous or something? And I said, yeah, you're almost the age of my mom. And he forced the kiss on me. And I went home and I looked at this man's phone number and I found out his full name, and then I looked up his full name, and very shortly after our date, like within 2 hours, I found out that he was an internationally famous gay porn star. And here I am watching him suck a dick on Pornhub. So my birthday story, holy shit, that was on her birthday.
You don't go on a Tinder date on your birthday. You don't do that. He was obviously bisexual, probably.
That's crazy. He was like a huge porn star. Gay or straight, I don't care.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. It is funny that ended up being a gay porn star.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't realize this. A lot of men who do gay porn are not gay.
Yeah.
I guess it's so obvious to me. I just realized most people don't know that.
I didn't really know that too much. Yeah. I don't watch porn though.
I watch too much porn.
I know that.
Yeah. So I knew this. Yes. Right. So I would probably recognize him. That's crazy. I don't like the fact that it's a big no-no. I'm so sorry you went through that. That is traumatic. That's not cool. You should never force yourself on anyone.
Yeah. They just make you feel like if a guy comes on to you and you turn them down, like you feel bad, and they always like somehow guilt trip you into doing something for them. It's like
they
toxic.
gaslight you.
Yeah.
Like, why are you getting in your head?
Yeah.
Why are you overthinking everything?
Yeah.
Why are you acting weird? Why are you being weird right now?
Yeah.
And then you're like, what? I'm not being weird. Or I thought you were cool.
Yeah.
I thought you were a nice person.
Yeah.
I thought you were a nice girl.
Yeah. That's
okay,
what it
never
is.
mind.
Yeah. I'm so glad I don't have to ever deal with that ever again for the rest of my life.
You're so lucky you have such a good man.
I know.
Okay, so thank you for sharing that. That was mortifying.
It was so good though.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's go.
Hi, Bessie. Oh my goodness. So I have the funniest story ever. I've been dating this guy for at least a month now, and I was having sex with him, and it was going good, great. And the crazy part is that I am on a birth control that you insert into your vagina, and it's called the nuva ring. So after having sex, we did our thing, got cleaned up, whatever. And I go home, And that day was the day that I was supposed to change it out. So I go in and, you kind of have to I guess finger yourself to get it out. And I couldn't find it. And I had two options: to not say anything at all or tell him that I lost my nuva ring in his bed. But he has a dog. So I was like, oh my goodness, what if this dog gets the nuva ring and eats it? I gotta have that. So I ended up calling him, asking him to search around for it. I was super embarrassed. I didn't know whether this was going to get me to a point where I was going to not talk to him ever again, or we're going to keep dating. Turns out that the nuva ring was inside of me the whole time. I guess I just couldn't find it at the time. Super confusing, but yeah, that's my story. Oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed till this day, but we're still dating, so I guess that's a perk.
Oh, she sounds really sweet and innocent. And I think because, first of all, I've never had a thing up in me.
Yeah.
That's the birth control you have used in the past, right?
I've had a UTI, so mine's different.
A what?
IUD.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, no, IUD is like in your fallopian tubes, and a nuva ring is just literally a ring.
Okay, so I'm unfamiliar with those two because I've only had oral birth control. Mm-hmm. So I think we're both listening and we're confused why she felt so embarrassed because it's
yeah, but she seems really sweet.
But she seems so sweet and innocent. The fact that she was so worried if he found out he would never speak to her again. But I'm so glad you guys are still together, and that is why we're gonna keep the story, because you're so brave for calling in.
Yeah,
and
that's
you're
so
cute.
I mean, if she listens, she's gonna hear these other stories and be like, "My story was nothing."
Yeah,
this guy shit on her. My story was nothing.
Yeah, but I guess it goes to show you how no one tells us how vulnerable we are when we have sex, when we get naked, and especially as women, there's so many moments where we get uncomfortable over things that we shouldn't, like queefing, like accidentally pooping if you have anal, or sharding yourself, I guess,
or losing your birth control in his bed. Like that you don't need to be embarrassed for that. If a guy ever said anything negative to you about the nuva ring popping out, that would be the biggest red flag. Like, of course he's still dating you, you seem amazing, you seem so sweet, so if he were to break up with you because of that, literally kick rocks. Like he can date his mom at that point.
I thought the story was gonna lead to he came inside of me, the nuva ring was gone, and now I'm pregnant.
That's what I thought I was gonna do as well.
That's where I thought it was going to.
And now we have little Timmy.
So I was surprised when that's not what it was. So all right, cool. Next one is,
hey Violet. I don't know if this is a funny story or a sad story, to be honest with you, but I had a one-night stand once with a guy, and this motherfucker saw my tampon inside of my vagina because I was on my period. He did not say anything. He proceeded to fuck me. And then 3 days later, I realized that there's this horrendous smell coming from somewhere, and I realized it's coming from me because the fucking tampon has been stuck in my fucking vagina for 3 days because I forgot to remove it. And this idiot saw the string and said, guess this is normal, and proceeded to fuck me. So I don't know if this is funny or sad, because obviously men are very fucking stupid. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.
Okay, I hope you're doing well. It sounds like, I feel like it just happened.
Yeah.
She sounds so angry.
It's actually funny because on the show, I had a sex story, and I talked about how I went down on a girl and she had a tampon in, and I took it out for her. Because that's fucked up. That can cause infertility issues. That can cause sepsis. You can die from leaving a tampon in for too long. So that is really messed up for him to do that, and I hope you never spoke to him again after that.
Yeah, I'm so confused. I don't know if he didn't realize that it was a tampon, and
men are also dumb, right? So he might not have known,
or he thought, well, I'd rather bang her with a tampon inside versus getting blood on me.
But a lot of men don't know what tampons are, so he might have thought it was some form of birth control.
I think so too.
Because a lot of men have no idea.
I feel like we're giving the benefit of the doubt, but I do think that could be that. But it's happened to a lot of women, not from sex, where you put another tampon in because you don't realize you already have a tampon in. I'm so glad she figured out 3 days later, because
remember the story. There's a story of this the model. Yeah, she left her. She put a tampon and she left it in for too long, and she got sepsis and is paralyzed now.
They had to cut off a leg.
Yeah. Or yeah, cut off a leg. That's what it was.
Yeah, they cut off a leg. Is that what it's called? Sepsis?
Sepsis, yeah. It's like your body starts to like die, basically.
Yeah, but hers was in, I think, for over a month.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit, okay.
So one time someone I know, they left a tampon in and then they put in another tampon over it and they got sick and they went to the doctor. That's when they found out that they had the tampon. It's very
common. I'm hoping this man did not know it was in there and it was dumb and maybe he didn't tell you because he thought it was normal. And I'm hoping he had a good explanation for that because that can cause serious health issues. So hopefully he had a good explanation for why he did that.
I think the solution here is that he should Venmo you $100 minimum for emotional damage.
I would say $1,000 for emotional damage and $100 for medication because obviously you probably had to go on some antibiotics. And do you know antibiotics can 50% of, if you take antibiotics, your chances of getting depressed in 6 months are 50% higher than if you weren't on the antibiotics.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. How do you know this?
I was researching it. Because I went through like a phase of like being really low and I had just gotten off these crazy antibiotics and the doctor was like, yeah, like antibiotics can make you depressed. It's like really high and they don't tell you this.
That's insane. But it makes sense. When the first year I got my cat, I was so allergic to pancakes that I was in and out of the hospital and I was constantly being put on steroids and antibiotics, I'm pretty sure. Not only was I growing a hunchback from the steroids, because the side effects was giving me extra skin on my back or something, but it was one of my lowest times. Yeah, I started gaining weight and I started getting very depressed, and I didn't realize I had to do that could be one of the factors.
Yeah, antibiotics are so bad for you. Like if you go to more of like a naturopath doctor, they will do everything to heal you without giving you antibiotics because it's really bad for you.
I never knew that.
Yeah, like if you can avoid, like I used to be the type of person that after I had sex, I had extra antibiotics laying around. I would pop them just in case I had a STI. Even though I wouldn't get tested, I'd pop them quick and cure myself if just in case I got one because I didn't feel like going to get tested or blah, 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 blah. If I had like a little bit extra discharge that month, I would pop an antibiotic, not realizing that like the long-term damage of antibiotics is so horrible. So now I literally avoid it at all costs. Like unless I'm dying and might get like a leg amputated, like I don't want antibiotics at all.
Well, that's crazy. And I had no idea.
Yeah.
And it was at the same time when I also tried to stop birth control when I did that. So it was like me on antibiotics, on steroids, and cutting birth control and Adderall completely. And all of that just when my hormones went like this. It was one of my lowest moments.
I think being off birth control is great.
Being off birth control is great, but it takes... I've been off of it now for 6-7 months and it took me a long... First of all, I don't even know anymore what my personality... because people say your personality changes and who you like may change, but I guess I was on it since I was 17. Yeah. So I can't tell, am I calmer now off of antibiotics or am I more emotional? I don't know.
I would say like, for me, I'm less moody, I find. Jesse says that it leveled me out when I went off birth control. Yeah.
Well, I took birth control for my hormone imbalance, but I will say it was really hard for me to get off of it because getting off birth control... not only were my hormones all over the place for months and I couldn't tell what was me, what was the hormones, but the acne came back for me and that was really hard because I wasn't used to it. I only had it as a teenager. So, and the acne that I was getting, it's not regular acne, it's like cystic acne, like here under on my chin. So it was on my chin and on my neck. Yeah. And then I still get acne on my back, and it's been 6 months in the most random places, and then sometimes on my chest. It's not even really on my face, so only on my neck, chest, and back. And obviously that made me very self-conscious getting off birth control, getting acne on my back, because I was like, now I don't, because we just talked about the vulnerability of being naked in front of someone. Just the thought of, because I have very, very soft skin, and I always love how soft my skin is, and then the thought of anyone touching me, feeling any type of acne on me, just made me feel like I'm disgusting, because it didn't make sense. You know, I'm in my 30s, I shouldn't have acne.
Yeah, but we shouldn't think that. Like, it's so normal, but it's like, I feel like everyone's always so hard on yourselves.
So hard on it. Like, obviously you get naked, the guy's so excited to just be invited
he
to the
doesn't
party.
give a fuck.
He's like, vagina?
He's just happy. I
get to be inside of there? That's amazing.
But I know it does take a long time for your especially if you've been on birth control for 10 plus years. It takes so long for your body to balance out.
Yeah, and I gained 10 pounds getting off of birth control.
Yeah.
A lot of people lose weight getting off birth control.
I gained weight as well for myself. Yeah.
To get off?
When I got off of it, yeah.
Okay, me too.
Yeah.
And it took me just now, the last 2 months, to drop the 10 pounds I gained over the last 7 months.
Yeah.
So, and that was hard because I went on vacation with some friends months ago. And when I came back and I stopped talking, you know, you go on vacation with people and then you go on vacation with friends and you come back with no friends usually because people just keep fighting. And then some of those people tried to bully me for my weight because I was already so insecure by gaining weight from my birth control. Up. Yeah, I never expressed or said anything, but I had to mute their comments because they would try to comment on my public Instagram, making comments like, show the unedited photos or show what you really look like. Up.
I feel like body shaming, like people have been body shaming me from Perfect Match, and I'm like, say whatever the fuck you want about my personality. Body shaming is not fucking cute. It's 2023. Okay. Like the fact that people are still like resorting to that like is so fucked up. Like you don't body shame anyone. It doesn't matter what they look like. Like I agree. It's
you can't be exactly like you gotta. It doesn't matter how much you dislike someone. Yeah. Figure a different way to bully them. Yeah. Don't bully them at all. But if you're gonna bully, don't body shame.
Yeah, because you don't know what someone's going through mentally with their body. Yeah. Like that's on a different level of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So obviously that's not fun to see. But recently I talked about my last Tuesday episode where I cut out late night eating. And that the last 2 months, that's really helped me with losing the weight.
You should do a food allergy test.
Right.
I did one of those a few weeks ago and I found out because I was having a hard time not being bloated. We just totally changed the topic. But I was like, I must be allergic to something. Like I was going through a period where I wasn't eating that much because I was really stressed and I was so bloated. And I was like, what is going on? So I did an allergy test and found out that I'm allergic to gluten and soy. And I'm vegan. So I eat so much soy. Now,
Air?
Fucking sucks, man. It sucks. Like I have to work around it. Like there's gluten-free breads and there's gluten-free options, but the fact that I can't eat gluten or soy and it's vegan, it's very limited. Like eating out is impossible basically. But it's been like 2 weeks now and I feel a lot better. Like my stomach is slowly like the bloat was insane. Like I looked pregnant and I was like, what the fuck? And it was like hard and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And it started kind of like about a year ago. So I finally found out that like I guess developed like an intolerance.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy. As you get older, you can get new allergies and new intolerance.
My friend found out she was same thing. She's the one who told me to do it. So random, broccoli and garlic. So she cut out broccoli and garlic and she literally dropped like 20 pounds. It was crazy.
That's actually what someone told me about my random back acne.
Yeah.
That because sometimes the way I would get it, it's like in the middle of my back, just one pimple, or like in my lower right back.
Dairy and someone said,
check if you're allergic to something specific because the way, she said the way it looks, because I think I showed her whether it was on my stomach, a random one, or my back, and she's like, it looks like it's an allergy.
Do you eat a lot of dairy? Yeah. Dairy is really bad for your skin. Like really, really bad. Jesse had like really bad acne. And then I told him ages ago, I'm like, you should cut out dairy. And he cut out dairy and his skin, like, he gets the occasional pimple due to stress, but it like fully cleared it. And same with Hyani. She had really bad acne and she stopped eating dairy. And I can tell when I see her if she's been cheating. Because like the dairy really affects her skin. Yeah.
Man, I don't really know what I eat. All I know is that the late night was hard for me to cut because the only way I could sleep is if I eat until I fall asleep.
Yeah.
So that was hard, but
late night eating is the hardest.
Pardon?
Late night eating is the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, I'll try that. I do feel all body positivity aside, it doesn't matter because people always say things like, I liked you before too, and I didn't see a difference, but it's how I felt about myself and just obviously the comments that I got from those people that were my friends.
Well, you look great, so fuck them.
Thank you. I do feel more like myself losing shedding those pounds that I gained getting off birth control. I still get the random acne, but I have been being kinder to myself where I don't feel as scared anymore of someone touching me if they can feel acne.
I feel like men have acne all over their backs because they're all on steroids. So
yeah, period. So okay, yeah, forget it. Obviously we kind of diverted somewhere else. Before we finish this, do you have either a crazy first date story or a crazy humiliating sex story you wish you can forget?
I mean, the one sex story I did talk about on Perfect Match was probably my craziest, but it wasn't really embarrassing for anyone. I have not pooped, but like got a little stuff on someone once.
You started on that.
Okay, so I'll tell the story. It was really funny. So it's actually kind of embarrassing. Well, not really. I was like going on a vacation with someone who was like kind of in the spotlight a little bit at the time, and we were having anal sex a lot because I was down for it. I loved it, and we had a really good vibe together. We got along really good.
Do I know this person?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And we were in, I forget, some random island, somewhere tropical, and we were, you know, having our thing, and I, you know, made a little accident, but it wasn't my fault. Like, it was just a little bit. He didn't think it was awkward. Like, he just wiped it up and went about his day. And then like literally the next morning, he like brought out another girl and like got her the room beside us, and like I wasn't really aware what was going on, and then all I hear is like them like having the craziest sex, and I'm just sitting in the room and I'm like, oh, like did you do that because I like did that, or like you just wanted to like switch it up? I was like, whatever. He was like a player, and I like expected it. Like, I was just there for the good time. I didn't care about this person emotionally, but I was like just listening to this girl was going crazy too. It was like the craziest moaning. It was like I was listening to like the most crazy porn of my life, and like there was a divider door in between the rooms, and it was just open, and I was just in bed, and I was like, should I go join? Like, what should I do? It was awkward. That was my story.
Did you guys have the same flight back?
No, she was from a different area.
You and the guy?
Oh, no. I ended up leaving. We ended up flying somewhere else after, like together? As a group. Yeah, the girl, us, all of us. And then I flew back from there to Canada. Oh, I'm pretty sure actually I had messaged his assistant when we went to Texas after. I had messaged his assistant, and I was like, because the assistant never like confirmed anything with this person. So I was like, hey, can you actually book me a flight like in the morning to go back home? And I didn't tell him I was leaving. And I just like packed my stuff really quick, and like while he was sleeping, just left and went home. Because I was like, that was fun, but like I'm just gonna go home. So I went home.
Okay.
And then he like, I think he saw my stories of me like in the Toronto airport, and he's like, what? I was like,
what? Why would you leave? Why would you do that to me? You're not being nice right now.
I didn't take it too seriously though, because that person was like that was who that person was, and I knew what I was getting into, and I was hanging out with them. So
okay, first of all, that's really incredible and self-aware of you to be so self-aware. But one thing men will never stop having is the audacity. Yeah. Like, yeah, to just, instead of just being like, hey, you know what, we enjoyed it, it's time for you to go home, he was like, let me just bring another girl here. And I don't even want to bother with when he was booking the room. He could have been like, hey, by the way, should we get a room with a few doors down, different floor? No, let's just get a next door,
conjoined with the door open. I mean, hearing like, oh yeah, daddy. And I was like, is there porn happening? What's going on?
That story is insane, because I thought it was gonna go somewhere else with the poop, and then it went completely south with the fact that he was banging another girl in the room next to you, and you're just sitting there like,
and like I couldn't leave then. Like, we were so far from like anywhere normal that like I had to wait till we got back to like,
and then North America. Went together
to North America,
to somewhere else before you finally flew home.
Yeah, and like I booked a flight behind his back because I was like, I can't, like, I'm not good with confrontation. So I was like, I gotta skedaddle.
Yeah, I mean, that's really not nice. Yeah, I will say, I don't care who you are, what position you are in. Yeah, that is actually cruel.
I was very young and naive at the time. Like, very like.
I recall when you used to hang out with this person, we were not friends. We didn't know each other yet. Yeah, but it was so many years ago, and when you were first getting into the scene, and it doesn't matter. I think it's silly that like, well, you should know what you're getting yourself into. It's not nice. Like, it's really, obviously he did something like that knowing that it's a way to show, it's a power move.
Yeah, for sure.
I have money. Mm-hmm. I invited you on this trip, so you're just a toy, and you're gonna obviously not say anything because I paid for everything. That's just cruel, in my opinion.
Yeah, I did have a good time on the trip, though.
Right. That's so good. All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining my confession corner today.
Of course. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you. You guys, don't forget to check out this past Thursday. We did an episode of Francesca, and we got to cover everything that you wanted to know about Perfect Match. So Where can people find you?
Francesca Farago on all social media, and my swimwear brand is Farago the Label on all social media as well.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay. Anyway, you guys, besties, I love you. Have a beautiful day and week. And better subscribe if you're not already. And I'll see you on Thursday. Bye.
Bye.